Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
Randy Orton defeated LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes and Aleister Black in a first round fatal four-way match for King of the Ring.
Jade Cargill defeated Piper Niven, Michin and Nia Jax in a first round fatal four-way match for Queen of the Ring.
Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis defeated the Motor City Machine Guns.
Alexa Bliss defeated Charlotte Flair, Alba Fire and Candice LeRae in a first round fatal four-way match for Queen of the Ring.
Cody Rhodes defeated Shinsuke Nakamura, Andrade and Damian Priest in a first round fatal four-way match for King of the Ring. And if you want to know how that panned out,
Cena's out twice, so does that count as double appearance?
yeah, I mean, why not? Knight's attacked by Bronson.
And Punk is trying to awaken the inner Anakin from the Darth Vader that Cena has become.
We begin with John Cena claiming that wrestling's Mount Rushmore consists of John Cena, and of course John Cena. And after calling himself a genius, he tells us that he had it all figured out, and that's why he was able to beat Rhodes, Orton and Truth. Cena adds that Rollins won't cash in on him because Seth wants Cena to leave with the title so he can then be the only champion, assuming Seth cashes in successfully. Cena ended by saying that no one is worthy enough to hold the WWE Championship again. This of course brings out Rhodes. You looked up at the lights after Money in the Bank and that wasn't part of your plan, so where does that leave you and I? Cody asked Cena. But before Cena got a chance to reply, Randy Orton came out. Orton said he had Cena beat at Backlash, which to be fair he did, before saying he'll go through anyone to get to number 15. They are then interrupted by LA Knight. Knight says if he has to drop a Viper, a Nightmare and a Genius to get the title, he will, with Cena then having heard enough and exiting the ring. As he nears the entranceway though, he's jumped by R-Truth / Ron Killings, with backstage hands having to prize Killings off Cena. After a SummerSlam ticket plug, we see Cena arguing with Nick Aldis in the back, cap backwards. So are we teasing a Thugonomics return? And surely we're not lining up another Truth Cena match, are we?
So, the first of four first round fatal four ways in the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments now, with Randy Orton versus LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes versus Aleister Black kicking us off. We get into it after a break with springboards aplenty from Hayes before we head outside where Black gets dropped on the announcer's desk by Orton. When we come back in the ring, we see Hayes frog splash Knight, with Black denying Hayes the win by breaking the follow-up cover on 2.
After yet another break, Black thwarts an RKO and BFT before covering Hayes for 2 after hits, kicks and strikes. Orton then delivers 3 scoop slams, 1 to each of his opponents, before we get a double draping DDT with an assist from Knight, who hit Orton with a jumping neckbreaker, so Orton dropped Black and Hayes while now dropped Orton. Anyway, Knight covered Orton kicked out on 2.
Knight sets up to elbow drop Hayes when he's pulled down from the middle rope by Bronson Reed. As the camera shifts angles, we can see Bron Breakker on the opposite side of the ring. Of course, Knight gets hit with a spear, with Hayes then climbing to the top rope to take advantage and splash LA. Only as Mello is about to land on Knight, Orton RKOs the flying Hayes, with Hayes still landing on Knight. So Orton got a twofer. With Hayes RKO'd and Knight splashed, Orton covers Knight and picks up the victory.
Next out is Jacob Fatu, and after saying he's on his own now, he's sarcastically clapped by Solo via the Titantron. Sikoa says he made Fatu and that next week he'll be in the middle of the ring with open arms waiting to hear "I love you Solo." Sikoa signs off by saying he brought Fatu into this world and he can take him out.
We see the Secret Service speaking with Nick Aldis next, and they have Chelsea Green on the phone. They hand the phone to Aldis, with Green saying that she can't make her Fatal 4-Way match, asking if it could be postponed until next week. Aldis says no, and gives her place to Alba Fire instead. Zelina Vega heads in next looking for Julia, but she isn't here. Vega says she'll be looking for her next week. Well, I think that's what she said anyway.
Next up, another Fatal 4-Way first round match for Queen of the Ring with Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven versus Michin versus Nia Jax. Jax and Niven team up to take on Cargill, but this is short-lived as Michin springboard moonsaults the tussle just as we hit a break. When we come back though, the double teaming has resumed with Niven and Nia doing a number on Cargill and punishing her in the corner. This ultimately breaks down when Niven goes for the cover on Jade, with Jax pulling her off. The two then begin to push each other, with Michin then coming in and taking both of them out.
Cargill hits a sit-down powerbomb to Michin, with Michin then suffering a senton from Jax. The new dream team of Nia and Niven then throw Cargill over the announcer's desk, taking out Wade Barrett in the process, with Michin then trying to take on Jax and Piper on her own. She suffers a double chokeslam, with Jax then taking out Niven, annihilating Michin and covering for 2, as Niven recovered to make the save.
Niven's had enough at this point and drives Jax through the timekeeper's barrier before heading back to the ring and landing a Piper bomb to Michin. Before she has a chance to cover though, Cargill grabs her, hits Jaded and covers Niven for the 1-2-3.
The women's Money in the Bank winner graces us with her presence next, and it seems that she has Tiffany Stratton in her sights, saying she's going to hit her with the case and become the new champion.
Yeah, why not?
Stratton then heads out and goads Naomi into taking the title right now. Naomi declines, saying she'll cash in when Stratton least expects it, which is nothing less than what I expected. Naomi says that Tiffy time's nearly over and to proceed with caution. Naomi then leaves the ring, but as she does, Jax attacks Stratton from behind. Nia gets the better of Stratton, with Naomi then heading back to the ring looking to cash in, but Jax warns her off.
I wonder what the quickest time is somebody's actually cashed in, like just do it. Like don't mess about, just do it straight away. Anyway, if you know, let us know in the comments below. But you know, it's always like...
I think it's
like
been later in that night.
9 to 12 months. Oh,
so was it the next night, I'm sure.
What was the one that...
I think it was one
what happened to Baron Corbin? I bet that wasn't long. Anyway, we see a clip from earlier in the day with all the SmackDown tag teams in Nick Aldis's office, with Aldis then selecting a tag team to face off against the Wyatts 6. The first lambs to the slaughter are Motor City and Machine Guns.
We cut to Motor City heading out, followed by the Wyatts, with Gacy and Loomis representing the Wyatts. The crowd seemed rather quiet, only cheering when Sabin motioned towards them. Loomis escaped a Skull and Bones attempt, with Gacy then coming in and hitting a double clothesline before Loomis tagged back in and was powerbombed onto Sabin by Gacy and covered for 2.
Motor City then run through their double team repertoire before looking for Skull and Bones again. Gacy disrupts it with a Wyatt 2, then double teaming Sabin and Loomis, then covering, but breaking his own cover. No idea what was going on here, and neither did the ref, as she was hesitant about counting. Loomis then leg dropped Sabin from the top rope and covered for the win. For me, this was a bit of a car crash. It might be the first time back in the ring for a long time. Loomis made it just a bit hesitant, a few mistakes, and I feel that the crowd weren't invested because I don't think they're bothered.
No, they didn't really seem.
They're not bothered.
At all bothered.
I mean, nobody seems to be buzzing about Motor City Machine Guns. They've come in, they've won the title. That's it. I can't see them having the titles again. And as for the Wyatts 6, brilliant entrance. But I don't think anybody's bothered about them. I think they're more interested in Uncle Howdy. No, and the tag team is just going to be Loomis and Gacy. It's not going to be anybody else. And if things start to go wrong, then the others will come in.
Yeah.
But it's just a bit... That's why I think I don't think anybody's bothered. We're not saying they can't wrestle. We're not saying they're not good at what they do. I just don't think anybody's bothered.
No one's invested.
You've just put these together. But anyway, join us next week when the Wyatts will be facing Fraxium. That's my guess anyway. I don't know who they're facing, but that's who it could be.
That's a good guess.
It won't be DIY yet, because they'll be like, oh no.
Yeah.
And it won't be the Street Profits, because they're champions.
Surely they'll be last.
So they'll be last. So I'm going to go, my money's on Fraxium.
Fair point, yeah.
Who's your money on? Let us know in the comments below.
We see John Cena walking through backstage next when he asks Jimmy Uso if he's seen R-Truth. Jimmy says no, Cena then asks if he's seen Ron Killings. Jimmy replies he's not seen either of them. Cena says he knows they're close and to let Truth know he's on the way to the ring now.
So out comes Cena again. Does this count as another appearance? He gets in the ring and calls out Truth for a fight, but instead gets CM Punk. Punk implores Cena to allow the crowd to put him on a pedestal and celebrate what he's achieved. Why? Questions Cena, saying the people don't matter. Now, I'm not sure if Punk fluffed his lines here, but he spoke of an old saying, and as soon as he said it, I'd never heard the saying before, he quickly just said, "You can't beat me." And there was quite a lot of pausing, and I feel that it was quite a long segment, and Punk did say a lot, and I just feel he may have forgotten what to say or what to follow up with, just said, "Oh, you can't beat me." I don't know, I might be wrong, but anyway.
Anyway, after more waffle and Star Wars reference we mentioned at the start, Punk says that Cena's the goat he will spit roast and sacrifice to the gods of wrestling. Punk ends by saying he sees through Cena before barging past him out the ring. As Punk leaves, Cena's attacked again by R. Killings, who puts him in the STF. Backstage hands run out to save the goat once again.
Backstage, Baron Saxton is with Alexa Bliss and asks her what her mindset is as she looks towards the future. She's not rattled that she lost Money in the Bank and is going to get one step closer to becoming Queen of the Ring. Charlotte Flair then interjects, telling Bliss there's only room for one queen in this division.
We see Nick Aldis speaking with Ron Truth backstage, asking him what he wants. Truth says a match against Cena next week. Aldis says done.
Oh God, Truth Cena again. Wow. Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss versus Alba Fyre versus Candice LeRae in the first round fatal 4-way for Queen of the Ring. Flair dominates but soon gets put in her place by Fyre and LeRae, with Bliss hitting a crossbody to Flair from the top rope. We come back from the break to see the old 4-person move in the corner, with Bliss powerbombing Fyre and LeRae while those two superplex Flair.
LeRae then breaks a figure 8 by Flair on Bliss with a springboard lionsault, with Bliss then hitting Twisted Bliss on Fyre and covering for 2, but only because Flair broke the cover. Flair then locks Fyre in the figure 8, but as she does, Bliss Sister Abigail's LeRae and covers. As Flair's too busy with her finisher, no one can save LeRae, with Bliss getting the cover and advancing to the semi-final of Queen of the Ring.
We see Rhodes heading out for his fatal 4-way when he walks past CM Punk. Rhodes says they can't run away from each other forever, with Punk agreeing. He then wishes him luck, with Rhodes then heading out. So, could be teasing a bit of for later in the year, probably.
So, last match of the night. A first round fatal 4-way match for King of the Ring. Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Andrade versus Damian Priest. We get an early broken arrow from Priest on Andrade and cover for 2, with Priest and Rhodes then fighting on the outside. Shinsuke soon joins them, with Andrade then hitting a moonsault from the top rope to the outside, so not to feel left out.
We come back from the break to find we're all in the ring with Shinsuke in control. Rhodes dodges his attack, with everyone then coming back in and Priest taking control. He goes old school, misses and gets sent to the floor. After 2 failed cover attempts on Andrade, Rhodes pulls a table out from underneath the ring, no DQ, and looks to suplex Andrade through. Of course, he fails, with Shinsuke drop-kicking the former champion off the apron and through the table.
After yet another break, we see the missed moonsault into standing moonsault by Andrade on Priest, with Andrade and Shinsuke then having a kick-off. Rhodes comes back but eats a Kinshasa, with Priest then munching on a spinning back elbow from Andrade, who follows up with the message and then covers for 2, as Nakamura broke the pin. Rhodes then takes out Andrade and Shinsuke before taking out Priest with a Cody cutter and Andrade with a crossroads.
Rhodes goes for another crossroads, but Nakamura grabs him from behind and puts Rhodes in a crossroads. Only Cody reverses into his own crossroads, executes and covers for the 1, 2, 3. SmackDown goes off the air with Rhodes kissing the mat. Now, we don't know who his opponent's going to be yet in the semi-final. We know the first men's semi-final is Zayn against Orton.
Yeah.
either could win. I'd favour Orton, but to be fair, either could win. And the second one is Rhodes against either Rusev, Sheamus, Bronson Reed, or Jey Uso, because it was a mystery who it was going to be. It's now Jey Uso. I feel Uso will win that fatal 4-way, and then he's got to go against his friend Cody Rhodes, which will make it more interesting. I mean, who wants to see Rhodes, Rusev, or Rhodes, Sheamus? No disrespect to them, but they're not the money grabbers are.
And then LA Knight could interfere, so Reed doesn't win, because obviously they interfered with him.
So Knight will come on to Raw, interfere in that match, upset Reed. Good thinking. Yeah, so it's probably Jay. And then in the women's, you got Cargill and Perez in the first semi-final.
Either.
That could go. Either way. And then the other one, all I can remember at the moment is Vicaria's in the other semi-final. Yeah. Because I can remember her because I think she'll win that, and I think she'll face Bliss in the semi-final. And again, either of those two could win, couldn't they? I mean, they're all up there. All four names of them. All four women's names are up there.
All good as well.
For me.
Yeah.
The only thing I think we needed this week was the tag match.
No.
It was a bit.
The crowd weren't really bothered.
No, because they're not on. Nobody's bothered about them.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, no matter how good they are, which they are, nobody's bothered. And we got 2 fatal 4-ways in, and I think in about 50 minutes. The last 50 minutes.
Less than that,
got 2 fatal 4-ways. So you've had 8 entrances, and 2 fatal 4-ways in 50 minutes. So why do we need SmackDown running for 3 hours? If you can do that, you don't necessarily need it running.
Just the 2, please.
For that long. Anyway, that's enough from us. What about from you? Any thoughts or views you'd like to share? Stick them in the comments down below.
Don't forget to check out our musings video with thoughts and opinions on the last week of WWE. A new one drops every Wednesday.
Once again, thank you for watching.
And hopefully we'll see you Tuesday for Raw.